Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Now, this is a video that I had been planning to make a couple of weeks ago, but my rudder pedals had other ideas and broke. I have just managed to repair them a couple of days ago and done a number of test flights, flying around making sure that they are working properly, which they appear to be. And also, with those test flights, having a look at Sim Update 5, finally. Just 2.5 weeks after everybody else, but having a look at it and noticing a number of issues. And so I'm going to be talking about those issues in today's video. But in short, Sim Update 5, in my opinion, despite the massive list of fixes, there are hundreds, possibly going in up to 1,000 fixes for different aircraft, for the sim itself, for the SDK, for physics, sounds, controls, so on and so forth. That massive list, 5 updates in, is a whole different problem unto itself, not something I'm going to be discussing in this particular video. But despite all of those, the main part of any update is how it performs, how it feels to fly. What it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, its stability, its performance, physics changes, so on and so forth. So really, the list could be extremely short or incredibly long, but if it makes a measurable change in either direction, that is what players are going to notice. And I have noticed that. And Sim Update 5 has been, in my opinion, a change for the worse. It has definitely gone backwards. It is a misstep. And once we're in the air, I will explain why I think that is and show you a few of the render. Well, I'll have the frame rate monitor up on the right hand side, and I'll be able to explain what differences I'm noticing from Sim Update 4, and we should be able to see when certain things are occurring, like stutters. I seem to have a lot of stuttering now when I am at low level, so I'll be checking that out as well. As with all of my sim updates, my test is going to be from one side of London, across London, a little bit over the countryside, and then landing at another airfield. For Sim Update 4, I started off at Stapleford and flew to Whitewortham. In today's, I'm going to be starting at Thurrock, which is slightly south of Stapleford, just east of London, and flying over to let's not go to Whitewortham today, let's go over to Booker, which is near High Wycombe. So we'll fly over towards Booker. On the way, we will be doing some sort of orbit, some sort of circle flyover over Heathrow, and the reason for that is to test how things work around Heathrow, and also flying directly over central London because we have all the photogrammetry and it is a densely packed area, so that is a good test for my machine as well. So make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started and let's have a look at the missteps that I believe Microsoft Flight Simulator have made, as well as there are some improvements, and those improvements are good, but I think I know why those have improved. Okay, so here we are in Golf Bravo Oscar Bravo Alpha. This is not an aircraft that I've flown in before. The first thing I'm going to do is actually go into the settings, and I'm going to switch DLSS off so that we can see raw frames. And also, I really need to figure out where I'm going to be going for this airport. So I'm going to be taking off from the concrete tarmac runway. But this airfield is a little bit confusing in how it looks. I guess if I just go across there and straight across, that should be all right. That is what I will plan to do. And I'm just going to put the frame rate monitor up. So, as you can see, I am getting 53 raw frames per second, which is not terrible if you look at my render rate at 2688 by 1512, which is the exact same render rate as I had in the last video. In fact, everything is exactly the same or last video, the last sim update, every setting is exactly the same as it was before. Now I will put DLSS back on at in a few moments, but I just want to show this bit off for a little while, just to see how that is being handled and what is running where, which bit is taking the longest. So obviously it looks like it is pushing on the main thread, so my processor is my limiting factor, but I will talk a little bit about that in a moment. For now, let's go ahead and get this aircraft started. So we'll do that. Nav lights on, rotating beacon on, prop full forward, get some fuel tank in there, fuel pump goes on, get some fuel flow, good, crank that about a quarter open and we'll go start the engine. Prop clear. Excellent. We'll go ahead and open this. Get some nice noise. I do like the way that this is simulated. You can actually hear the turbulence going past that window. That is really well done from Just Flight. But we are not here to look at any of Just Flight's model right now. That is not currently important. I'll switch this on. Not that we are going to need any of this, but that's okay. That will do. I'm not going to go through all of the checks just yet, or at this point in time. That is not really important. What we're going to do is just get straight on with the flying. So we'll turn this aircraft around. But as you can see, I'm still managing to get a good 52 frames per second. But I'm going to point out that that is worse than what I was getting before. And I've managed to pin it down to what appears to be the main thread. So the main thread is taking, in fact there are two things that take a little bit longer. So the main thread is taking a little bit longer per tick, or however many milliseconds, whatever this actually is. I guess this is its render rate. Just making sure the brakes are working properly, which they are. Good. We'll go straight across a runway that does not look like a runway at all. It's very strange. And we'll get straight onto this one. And given the wind direction today, we'll be taking off runway 25. It is quite a headwind. It isn't gusty, but it is quite a headwind of about 12 or 15 knots, as shown by the windsock. The windsock, there we go, showing at 15 now, almost at 15. Now I've tried to pick weather or a day to record this that is as similar as possible to Sim Update 4, so clouds in the air. Obviously the weather is different, but with plenty of clouds, that is what I've been trying to do. Movement's good, excellent. Let's go ahead and on the brakes, slow this aircraft right the way down for the turn. One stage of flaps. Line up. There we go. Looks pretty good. Maximum on mixture. We'll close this. Lock that. Okay. I think we are pretty much good to go for our journey. Now I have no idea how well this is going to go given the wind, but we shall see. We'll climb out to about 1,000 We'll start off at around 1,500 feet, and we'll go on from there. So far, so good. It is almost a perfect headwind. Up we go. Gear up. Now we'll climb out at about... try and get us on a climb out at about 90 knots. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head south and just going to see what it is like just near the Thames. So the Thames is just out there. Just going to head out towards that. So we'll start with that, then we will fly in over London. Now, I have tried... how many flights have I done in this so far? Test flights wise, I have done 5 flights so far. Yes, I've done 5 flights, and of those 5 flights, I've managed to... it went well for 3 of them, roughly. The fourth one, one of them crashed whilst on the ground. And one of them... what happened to another one of them? Oh, yes, it crashed whilst I was in the air. And I'm not entirely certain why. Actually, that one did not crash. That one just kept getting stuck. It just kept pausing whenever I was trying to do anything. So that was the other flight. And let's try and get ourselves up to... now, the turbulence is pretty strong up here. Lots of updrafts and downdrafts as we're going in over the tree line, which I'm not entirely certain quite how realistic it is, but that's fine. We are going to be climbing up, as I said, to approximately 1,500 feet, maybe a little bit higher. And as you can see, I am alright-ish with my frame rates. So I'm getting 50, at the moment I'm getting about 56, 57 frames. Now that is not bad, but in the previous sim update, see how that keeps flickering between red and green? That was almost always green with the same settings that I had. And I'm not sure why it is now requiring more performance out of the processor. If you turn in, just turn in. Want to avoid those, definitely want to avoid those wind turbines. There we go, coming up to about 1,500 feet. We're doing quite well. Accelerating up nicely. There we are. I will start trimming out. And we'll bring this right the way back. There we go. That should hold quite nicely at 1,500 feet for me. At a nice speed. So, that is what I'm getting now. You can see London directly ahead of us. It is not bad yet, but it is not going to get any better with all the testing that I have done. Now, I'm going to switch DLSS back on so that we can somewhat see a smoother video, but bear in mind that this is adding an extra few frames. And you'll also notice that at that point, this becomes almost always red. So there is that too. Right, maybe I should climb up a little bit more. This is not a bad day to fly at the moment. Let's head directly west. Bits of pop-in as well. I've noticed a pop-in start to appear with this update that never used to be like that. Now, if we start looking at some of the good things that I've seen on this update, well, one of them is the fact that GPU memory is reduced, not by much. I've noticed about a half a gigabyte, 500 meg reduction in GPU memory being used. Physical memory as well is there is less being used of that. So that is good. Until you really start looking into it, because what I have found is that the textures, if we just try to stabilize the aircraft, move over to this side, the textures on the ground seem to be of worse quality now, a lot worse quality. And I think that is why the GPU is being taxed less. And it just, I'm not sure why they have done this. On top of that, photogrammetry, and this is why I'm going over London. Look at that. The melted photogrammetry is back with a vengeance. And I have no idea why that is the case either. Because this was not a thing in Sim Update. I think after Sim Update 3 there was no melted photogrammetry. I was able to fly really quite well. Now if I were to, for example, take a picture now, oh wait, I have to switch off chase plane. It's a bit awkward. If I were to take a picture now and zoom in, look at that. It looks really poor, and it is not photogrammetry right the way in the distance that is just poor. Look at that. That is all within a mile of where I am. Mile and a half of where I am. City airport right there. A complete melted mess. The Thames Barrier, complete mess. The Millennium Dome, O2, whatever you call it, total mess. I cannot even recognise, well, I can just about recognise Canary Wharf, but that is about it. The only landmark I can see here that is recognisable there is the Shard. You have the Shard, and I think I saw Westminster somewhere. Well, I did see Westminster somewhere. I think it has disappeared now. So yes, that is just really poor. That might even be, that there might be Battersea Power Station. Potentially. Not a clue. Poor quality all round for this update. And I think that is why the memory usage has dropped. But you cannot look at that and say, oh, that is a great image. In fact, I'm just intentionally sitting here with this like this. The reason being is because that should, at the very least, if it was a download issue, which you can see the download speed is 0, that should have downloaded this area, the photogrammetry, and rendered it. It just will not do it. Will not do it at all. So let's go back in, and potentially I could I might actually just take a screenshot like this. Right, cannot apparently even take photos with chase plane on. That is weird. very, very strange. I think I need to change my controls for switching off head tracking and as well. But this is not the kind of scenery that I was expecting. And this is only, I will say, this is only the start of some of the issues that I have found. It really is. So if we were to continue along, no, not that. There we go. So if we were to go ahead and continue along at just under 2,000 feet, I want you to pay attention to this one here, Coherent GTUI thread. I have no idea what it is, but the response time on that for each frame, I suppose, is much higher than it used to be. I would expect, or I would guess, it is very difficult to tell. I'm guessing that at points it is double or triple what it used to be. Now the main thread has only gone up 25%. I think I was sitting around the 15 to 18 milliseconds, and now I'm in the 18 to 21 milliseconds more often than not. So that has definitely gone up. And then I want you to take a look at, you may have seen a little yellow line appear on this bit here, which is now completely red. That yellow line is every stutter that I appear to be getting in the sim. That is what that yellow line is. And that also did not used to be a thing. And when we get closer to the ground, so when we start lining up for a landing, you are going to notice that a lot more. I have had one landing that was mostly stutter free. I've done 2 other landings, and both of those landings had quite a significant amount of stutter in them. So I'm going to try in this video to, well, I cannot really replicate the stutter. We're just going to have to see what happens with the stutter. It may or may not occur, but I am just telling you what I have experienced. Now, that being said, positives for Sim Update 5 that I've found. Well, I suppose the memory usage, the drop of the memory usage is better. This is not very good, so I believe this is talking about accessing the cache, or telling me how quickly it is accessing various different parts of the cache. This one here, which I'm going to assume is my L3 cache that it's trying to access there, is much slower now as well. So I have no idea what Asobo have done, but I feel like in trying to reduce memory usage, they have actually offloaded a lot onto the processor instead, and that has caused potential stuttering. Now, I looked this up because I thought, is it just me? Could it just be my machine that is stuttering away and having these issues? I have seen many I should probably have switched my transponder on. Does not matter, we're not doing this properly. I have seen many posts on the Flight Simulator forums, on Reddit, in other places to Asobo as well, saying that they are having these stuttering issues. And on top of that, apparently in the beta for Sim Update 5, these were also present, and people told them about it and they did nothing. So yes, that is problematic, should we say. Now, I am not sure if I can improve the photogrammetry of this area. The cadence on that sentence was all wrong, wasn't it? The photogrammetry of this area, I'm not sure if I can improve upon it, because I have no idea why it is so melted. But surely there must be a way to do something. It is quite turbulent out here. Now, what we're going to do next is head towards Heathrow Airport, and then we will do an orbit over Heathrow and see where we go from there. I was not expecting it to be this turbulent today. Oh. So currently heading directly to Heathrow, which I can just about make out in the distance. Once we are there, or once we are close, we will do a descent to approximately 800 feet and then orbit over Heathrow, maybe do one orbit over Heathrow, and then continue on to our destination. Okay, I was expecting slightly calm weather. I know we've had quite warm weather as of late, but this is a little bit more than I was expecting. This was definitely a little bit more than I was expecting. Let me drop this back a little bit more. That is the prop. Try and bring ourselves back down to 2,000 feet. Now, again, I will point out that when it works, when Microsoft Flight Simulator works, it does work well. Well, I say that, there are numerous other issues with it, but for what it is, it does work well. It is just that with every update, no, correction, not with every update that I've found. With this update, I think that they have taken a step backwards, and quite a major step backwards. Now, I have heard that there is a Sim Update 5.1 beta going on now, but why is that? Why does that have to be a thing? Yeah, it's Craven Cottage, I believe. Yes, why does that have to be a thing with the update? So let me, once again, let's have a look at London behind us. Let's see how it looks. Look at that. Why does it look like that? There was definitely a major improvement. See, there, I cannot even take a picture because, well, that looks horrific. It truly does. I could obviously take a picture like this. Although that being said, even there, look at that. Sure, these look, I'm okay with all of this. This is not bad. That is not even a mile away. Not even a mile away. And look at that, the way things are melting. And as I said, this has not even improved performance. Performance, in my opinion, is currently worse. But I tell you what, let's move over to the north side of Heathrow, just like I did last time, and we'll start a very gentle descent down to 800 feet from where we currently are. I said descent, not ascent. There we go. Good. We'll just ease up on the throttle a little. That's what we'll do. So by the time we get to Heathrow, we should be around 1,000, just under 1,000 feet. Yes, because from here it should take us about 3 minutes to get to Heathrow. So in fact, we should be at 800 feet as soon as we get there. Right, switch this back on. Actually, there is one good thing I've found in this sim update. Now, this might have been in the last update, I may not have noticed it, but one good thing that I have found is that for the first time I saw what appeared to be, and I know they were not, but it at least looked like it was trying to visualize it, cirrus clouds. I do find that quite strange that Flight Simulator does not have more than one type of cloud at the moment. This has now been 6 years, and their weather systems are still not very good. So yes, that is an improvement, but still not great. Now, as with last time, I have FSLTL running just with static aircraft at airports. In fact, you cannot run, well, you can now with an Avigraph subscription, but you could not run for a short period of time live flights because of a Flight Radar 24 API. But I do have static aircraft just like last time, and we're going to see what happens. Last time I was here, I remember that there were a couple of serious dips in the frame rate, and then it stabilised. And yes, then it stabilised, and we were okay. Oh, this is a bit rough. I'll tell you one thing, I am not looking forward to the landing, because I think Booker Airfield has forests all around it. This is up in the Chiltern Hills. I'm not looking forward to the landing. I think it's going to be really, really rough. Well, there we go. Okay, we are roughly down to the altitude that I want. Just need a little bit lower. Once we get just past midpoint of the runway, we will turn in and do an orbit. In fact, let's just stabilise right here, and alright, let's turn in. The weather in this area is not great. Actually making it very tough to fly. Obviously we have the crosswind as well, which you can clearly see. Okay, a little bit, just small amounts of stuttering. And one of the other tests that I did do was I set up a camera at Heathrow near the runway and just let it run, and there was a lot of stuttering. In fact, there is stuttering here. There's definite stuttering going on, which both appears to be coming in from the main thread and the render thread. The coherent GTUI as well is stuttering, so we'll do another. It's maybe a bit too steep. There we go, that there. Just circle over terminal 4, I guess. I can actually feel the turbulence trying to push the aircraft around a little bit more. Okay, all appears to be fairly okay. Now, I will say that this, at least from, oh, there it goes. Well, I take that back. That is a sort of stutter that I have experienced. Yes, that is a sort of stutter I've been experiencing the closer I get to the ground. I was going to say that appeared to be a little bit better of an experience than I had thought, but no, that was not great. Okay, next stop off to Booker. So we'll just fly over these terminals here, 1, 2, 3. As soon as we go over terminal 5, probably start heading in up to the M25. We're looking for North Alt off to our right hand side. That would be the A40, that road that comes off past North Alt, and we follow that along. That joins on to the M40. The stuttering is definitely getting worse here. Follow the M40 for about 4 or 5 minutes and we should be near High Wycombe. The airport is just to the south of the M40. So that is what we're going to do. That there, I believe, is the M4. So we're not taking the M4. Yes, that is the M4. Not our choice of motorway today, so White Wortham is out that way somewhere. A few minutes in that direction. We are going to go... Oh, more stutters. There you go. You are now experiencing exactly what I've been experiencing, and this is not something that I have experienced or had experienced in the previous sim update. Any more pictures I can take? That's not too shabby a view, I guess. Try and not get it too in focus, but relatively in focus. There we go. Could I get... No, I cannot get London in focus like that either. So, okay, fine. See, that just does not, even with the focus not set, it just does not look good. But can you imagine taking a picture of that and seeing that out there? The only landmark out there that actually looks sharp is the shard. In fact, I did not even have a look at things like BT Tower or anything like that, which I can only assume looked pretty poor. Right, keeping an eye out for the right road. And for Northolt, there's Northolt. So the road goes across there, we out there. So let me turn in here. I should be able to recognise more stutters. Okay, this is actually worse than the last test I did. I can recognise the junction from up here, so that is okay. Cannot see Wembley Stadium. That is the junction, so we'll just go off in that direction. Oh. Now I think that the depiction of the weather, the clouds, is pretty accurate, even with their limited cloud types. So I would say that is pretty accurate. Perhaps I should have tried to fly across the UK a few days ago when there were thunderstorms in various different places. That would have been interesting, and then try to fly around in the 35-degree heat. I would expect that would have been quite turbulent to fly around in. So the airport should be somewhere just about there, I believe. So it should be there in 5 minutes? 5 minutes or thereabouts. That is, if I can keep control of this aircraft. Which I am concerned. I'm very concerned about the landing. I do not know the airfield all too well. I'm concerned that the runway of choice is going to make it very difficult to land. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull up Navigraph charts right now. One of the good things about trimming aircraft is that even in this, trimming an aircraft does make it easier to handle. Right, let's see what we've got. I say as we get pulled around. It is bad. Just going to have a look at the aerodrome chart. So runway 24 is probably going to be our landing of choice. I think that is going to be the landing of choice. Do we have instructions about what we should and should not be doing? There are gliders. Gliders fly a circuit opposite to that in use by powered aircraft. Joining aircraft are to overfly the runway at 1,200 feet. AAL on runway QDM. Right, okay. I do not know what the QDM is going to be, so we'll figure out what I'm going to do. Just figure out the elevation of the runway. 513 feet, so we're overflying at 1,700. Fine, we'll do that. So probably should climb just a bit. So we'll overfly the airfield 1,700, go in, go over High Wycombe, and hopefully should be able to land straight in from there. So we'll probably do an extended base sorry, not an extended base, extended final, long final. Now out here, things appear to be alright. It's not terrible. Still keeping an eye out for the airfield. We should be coming up on it very soon. And still looking for opportunities to take pictures. Do like this livery on this aircraft. The paint scheme is very nice. Do have to get better at taking photos though. Whoop, push down. So where is this airfield? Should be entering the area. No, we should be entering the area right now. Trying to keep an eye out for it. I think I see it. Yep, I think I see it. Switch that on again. No, I do not. Thought I saw it. It's just a road. I think we're just going over it now, actually. I can cheat and do this. No, we are not. Ah, where is it? Is that it? Oh, that is it. There it is. That's the airfield. Right. So we are going to overfly at this altitude. We will then join. Let's join a left-hand circuit. This is going to be a problem. This is really going to be a problem. Runway to land on is runway 24. We can take a look at the weather using FlowPro. I highly recommend this. 80 knots. Oh dear. I'm expecting this to go badly wrong, so I'm expecting a go around. I think you should probably expect a go around too. Looking for what could be problematic here. That tree line. I'm not fond of tree lines in Microsoft Flight Simulator at all. I find that the turbulence that comes off those tree lines feels very, very unrealistic. And not having a force feedback stick then leads you to doing things like overcorrecting. So we'll stay around this altitude to make the join, and let's start turning in. We're going to remain, no, do not climb. Round we go, round we go. That is better. We'll just do a 30-degree bank. Oh. I'm not keen on this at all. We'll do a 30-degree bank, 060. Then we'll start a descent. And we'll start slowing ourselves down. There's the runway. That is good. Give ourselves a little bit more of a wide base here, or a wide downwind that is a little bit further away. We'll start slowing ourselves down. Mixture to full. Swap that tank since we've been going for about half an hour on the other tank, and we'll start descending. Bring ourselves down to, I think, 1,000 feet. I think that would be about right for what we are doing. In fact, I think I probably want to be at about 1,000 feet there, because that would be about 500 foot above, roughly. So we'll start really slowing ourselves down massively. There we go. Pull that power back. Whoa. Start descending. Pull that power back quite significantly. $120 knots. Come on. Okay, I'm not keen on this at all. This is a hilly area, lots of drafts, updrafts, downdrafts, side drafts. I think this is going to go quite badly wrong. We are not landing, one thing is for certain, we are not landing full flaps. So I'm having difficulty just turning the aircraft right now. I'm also concerned about the stutters, which appear to have disappeared for now. So I'm concerned about them reappearing. When they do, I have no idea how I'm going to handle them. Right, so where's the runway? Runway not in sight. Uh-oh. Runway in sight. Just about. Slow it down even further. Oh, the downdraft is really pulling at this aircraft down to 100 knots. We'll pull the gear early. I can see the runway. That is good. Yep, I can see the runway. Slow it down a little bit more. One stage of flaps. This a bit more power. I want to maintain 80 knots. I think we're going to land with just one stage of flaps here. Yes, just one stage of flaps will do. Try and... oh. I'm actually struggling to maintain attitude and altitude here. Look at that. I know I'm a little high, but that's... I have a feeling I'm going to be dragged down. That is why I'm doing this. Right. It's quite a crosswind as well. Oh. Go around. That was bad. So once we're over that hilly area, this is fine. Until that moment, up to that moment, we really are. I really am struggling. 285 at 16, right? I think it might be. I might be better off just holding, trying to maintain the slow speed here. So I'm going to leave the flaps out. We'll just have the gear up. That is all for now. Whoa. That just goes to show what difficulty I'm having in flying the aircraft. Almost stalling. Well, I say almost stalling. The stall warning went off. I do not believe I would have stalled. Just maintain the 1000. I think as soon as we get over this school, that school, we'll just go ahead and turn back in. Alright, let's try again. Without climbing. There's the runway. Gear. Try and bring it down this time a little bit better. Probably have to compensate for the wind a lot more than I thought. Might actually just bring it down at 90 knots. Which is not ideal. Okay, that feels a little better. That does feel a little bit better. We're being pushed again. Just trying to maintain that center line. It's done it again. It's alright. Should be. This time I think we can just about make it. Why does it do that? It's going to be a rough landing. Tell you that much. And we are down. That was not pleasant. So why did it do that twice? As I got over that tree line, it just gave out on me. Or just decided, no, it just did not want to do anything. But we are down. And surprisingly, I should point out on a test flight that I did, when I was landing, I had a lot of stutter. So surprisingly, it has managed to not stutter, which I'm not sure that I was expecting that, but there we go. I think I'm going to end it there. As I said, it seems like we've just have problems with the current version. With stuttering, and this is of course using a light aircraft. Imagine if this was obviously not landing here, but the PMDG aircraft or the Just Flight RJ or the Phoenix A320 or any of those aircraft. Inibill's A350 I think would really be problematic. I just do not understand what exactly Asobo have done. I really do not understand what Asobo have done. In the meantime, the trees look great, and I just saw some ground. Look at that ground here. The dirt. This is why I also get confused. Look at the quality of that, literally including ruts made by farmers. And then we have the issues that we have, or we have textures like this. So we've got textures like this, and then we have textures like this, which close up, all right, that's fine. But as soon as you start looking at it from a slightly higher level, it just looks very, very blurry. I also have no idea if I'm supposed to be, I think I am supposed to be here because, well, that looks like a hangar, so that is where I'm going. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Do you have similar issues to what I'm experiencing with Sim Update 5? If so, what have you managed to mitigate them? What have you done to mitigate the issues? Maybe I should have... I'm going to have to push this out, aren't I? Oh, that's going to be a problem. What have you done to mitigate the issues? And do you think that these issues should have been sorted out a long time ago? Let's switch everything off. All of that is off. Good. And that should get the engine to cut out. Perfect. If you wish to do so, you can check me out on social media and my Discord server, link in the description box below, as well as... Actually, no, that was it. I got distracted by switching the aircraft off. I've changed a couple of controls and I got distracted by those controls. So there we go. Yes, do check that out if you wish to do so. But also, more importantly, I've parked really, really closely to this. It's fine. Good parking. Definitely good parking. More importantly, please do let me know if you are having similar issues to what I'm experiencing here. And today's issues were different to the test that I did yesterday. So that is something as well. It clearly is not the same for everybody at all times. That is all from me. And I will see you next time in Microsoft Flight Simulator, where I might try out... I have not yet tried out the PMDG 737-700, which is something I've had since Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I might try that out just to see how that performs in this at the moment. I think not very well. But we shall find out. I might have to bring the render rate down, which should be doable. Just to improve things, but definitely a step backwards. Thank you once again, and oh well, actually, that just shows that's a case in point right there. Look, quality really significantly dropped. That just looks very blurry. And I have heard that there is a way, there are ways to get much better quality out of this, but they just do this anyway. That is all from me. And I shall see you next time.